Okay, part two. Okay, so everybody in my organization has had or knows someone who has had problems with drugs or alcohol. And we will stand and we will fight and we will walk against all the drug dealers. We will shut the streets down.
We already did.
And we're going to do that here soon. As soon as I get done with my sign, we will be going out to Minneapolis and we will be shutting it down.
Shut it down.
So if you're local here in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities area, come join us. We'll be on 25th and Bloomington here in a little bit. But we start off at Little Earth, my Native American community, at 2501 Cedar. We start there and we stand and we hold our ground and we just fight this epidemic. And people say it's a no-win situation, that we'll never win, but we win every time a life is saved with Narcan. Some may be too late, and others have that blessing of seeing another day. So it's really important to get the word out. Anybody can start a chapter. You just have to kind of represent, and we do expect everybody that runs a chapter to be drug and alcohol free. I am locally working on the churches here in the city.
So the homeless can have a place to sleep every night?
We want our homeless to stay off the street. Minnesota gets very brutal in our winters, and we need to keep them warm also, because just because they don't have a home to live in doesn't mean that they don't have loved ones that care.
Like Bones.
But he chooses to be on the street. But with that being said, we also take donations. We take lots of donations. I have lots of donations to bring tonight. I was pretty happy about it. My first donation was just, pens and pencils and, some cosmetics for, my Native women and, just little stuff.
But still, it was helpful.
And my next donation was several blankets, some socks, and some mittens. And that'd be awesome because, again, temperatures get very brutal in Minnesota and people freeze to death.
And in Washington, D.C., when we went there to protest, we slept in a church for 4 nights. Then every night there was homeless people going in there. And to the people that worked at the church, we were giving them clothes and food and stuff.
Yep, so I will take donations. And what I do with them is I give them to our organizations. And if somebody is in need of something, they can let us know. And we can provide that for them. There's not enough organizations out here to help anybody, especially the Native American. I don't know if you're aware, but food stamps have been cut. Thank you, Donald Trump. So people have to find other resources to feed their families. I know elderly people that actually get $8 in food stamps a month. And they go to the store and they buy cat food because it's cheaper than actual food. So I got that woman some help and I got her into some assisted living. This is a couple years ago. So yeah, it's hard. You know, if we all stand up and fight this. And by the way, if everybody actually just says one nice thing to somebody that they don't know, you may even save a life. So hold that door open for that lady, or pick up that man's car keys, or hold the door open for somebody. Just tell them to have a nice day and smile. That's all I ever ask for when I give out a donation, is pay it forward. I don't expect a thank you. I don't expect a card. I just want you to pay it forward and show the next person that somebody does care. It's that easy. It doesn't take no effort to do it. And you might actually save a life. I know James Cross did. And because of him, my daughter has her mother still. So, I will pay it forward every day of my natural life. So when you see a homeless person, don't judge them because of the way they dress, or the way they look, or because they're digging in a dumpster for a sandwich. Help them out. You know, if you know of a shelter, point them in the right direction. If they're cold, it ain't nothing to give them your hat off your head, or someplace for them to be, like a coffee shop, and buy them a coffee so they have a reason to be there. Most local businesses will not allow the homeless to be there because they think that they're a nuisance. They're not a nuisance, they just have nowhere to go, and that's just what it is. So,
one time we just got done at protesting, and I had a sleeping bag in the back of my mom's car. Then I'm like, Mom, can I give her this homeless guy my sleeping bag? And he was sleeping under a piece of cardboard and plastic.
Yeah, so that day we protested. It was very cold. It was cold out. We protested down at the state capital of Minnesota, St. Paul. And we were walking by, and we had to walk over the bypass over the freeway. And there was a gentleman there, and he was laying on a piece of cardboard.
Covered by
and he was covered with a sheet of plastic. And just earlier, Selena went on a sleepover, and she needed a a sleeping bag. So I went and bought her a sleeping bag. Sleeping bag sat in the trunk for a few months, never used, only used it one time. Probably won't ever use it again. And she's like, Mommy, that sleeping bag we have in the trunk is still there? I was like, yeah, why? She said, Mommy, can we give it to this man? So we walked back to the car and grabbed it. And I just happened to have a few dollars that day. And I pulled out $20. And we gave him a sleeping bag. And this man thought he won
the lottery.
The doggone lottery. Now the sad thing is that he was sleeping across the street from a government office. And I talked to one of the women walking by, and she said that that's what she does, is they communicate and try to figure out what to do with the homelessness. Well, lo and behold, she walks right past him and looks down and puts her nose up in the air. So, yeah, I wanted to slap the shit out of her.
Oh my God.
Don't ever judge a book by their cover. You never know. They can lose their house in just a few minutes like I did. I had a house fire back in '93, and I lost my whole house in 4.5 minutes.
Just imagine you being homeless, and you wanted someone to help you.
You just have to remember, the homeless, they have hearts and souls too.
They are brothers
They may not be the nicest.
There are brothers and sisters.
They may not be the nicest people, but
It's
It doesn't matter. They're still people.
They're still our brothers and sisters.
So come check us out. Like my page. Or I'm sorry, Selena's page, I should say. And say hey. Let me know that you're here. Let me know your support. Support us against the fight against drugs. And we can win. Even if it's just getting some Narcan. So every day is a win for us. Some days we lose 3 people. We're not going to do that no more. We're going to keep fighting and we're going to keep going. We like to fight and we like to do these marches on Friday nights. And we will walk around through the city of Minneapolis and we'll hit a few spots, hot spots. And we will actually stand there and we will shut it down as far as the prostitution, drug dealing. We'll stand in front of the drug dealer's house and watch the customers come out and look at the needles all over the ground. We have to be careful because that's our kids picking them up because they don't know, because their moms are junkies. Or like, excuse me, I shouldn't use that term, junkies. That's not the correct term. They're addictions. They're addicts. So, if you know anybody, just love the addict.
Not the drugs.
Not the drugs, okay? Yeah, so stay tuned and we will go live again once we get done with this and get down into Minneapolis and meet up with all of our relatives and represent
Or try to go live.
and hope we can save at least one more life today. You don't have to be a doctor or a surgeon to do that. Sometimes it's just a hello. Remember that. Okay. See you guys, because my markers are falling apart.